Well, good morning and welcome back to the final fabulous segment here on Cityline. With me, I have two individuals that I would want them on my team if I was ever like in a Trivial Pursuit type situation and there was a question about history. I'd be like, oh, I want those two. And so those two that I'm speaking about with the Job Carr Cabin Museum, Christopher Ubelhar, you are the executive director of the Job Carr Cabin Museum. I always call it the little museum that could. Welcome to Cityline.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you on the comfy couch. You brought with you this woman who is a legend here in Tacoma. She represents this. She lives it. We're talking about Karen Haas. Karen, you do more for that Job Carr little cabin that could museum. I mean, you are just a fixture there. So welcome back to Cityline.
Thank you. Glad
Great
to
have you here. And you have something really fun in your lap that we're going to talk about in just a second here. So, Christopher, for people who are like, what is Amanda talking about? What do you mean that little cabin? And where is that cabin? Tell us about this Job Carr Cabin Museum.
Sure. We are a little museum in Old Town on North 30th, and we're housed in a replica of Tacoma's first permanent non-native residence. So Tacoma's kind of early pioneer cabin that got the city as we know it today started. And we use the story of Job Carr, who's Tacoma's pioneer founder, to tell the story of Tacoma's history from the early Native American presence onward up through kind of early immigration settlement in Old Town, including the Croatian immigrants and Asian immigrants, of course.
Absolutely, because the Croatian festival happens right there in Old Town. So Karen, you are having a special event this year. Tell us about the Tacoma Fiber Fling. And boy, try to say that 10 times. But it's a good phrase. You'll remember it.
Yes. First off, the basic dates, it's coming up on Saturday, October 1st. It's from 10 o'clock until 2 o'clock. Right next to the cabin, they're letting us take over all of Old Town Park, which is such a charming place. And it's going to be talking about all things fiber, and it can be spinning and weaving and quilting and sewing and celebrating fiber arts through the ages and community groups that do that, and it's all part of Tacoma Arts Month.
So yes, and how does fiber fit in to the Job Carr Cabin Museum?
Well, you're going back to a time that you didn't just run out and, oh, I need a new shirt, or there's an itty-bitty little chair. I'm going to throw this away.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's going back to a time when you did make things and you considered that you would be making things. You looked around and, is this time?
Yes.
You looked around and you said you have fuzzy wool and it falls apart like this, doesn't do anything until you twist it together and it's strong. I wish we could remember that again.
I know that is a theocracy for our world.
Yes,
it really is.
Yes, but this is an old-fashioned drop spindle, and that gets the spinning going. And I'll pull this out so it's fuzzy, and as soon as I open up, the twist will jump into the fuzz. So I'm sitting here and I'm making yarn. So if I was back there when Job was around, I'd be saying, well, you know, the husband, he's out there working in the fields, and if his feet can be feeling better and warm and dry, he'll be a lot happier, so I'll spend all my extra time spinning.
Wow, how far we have come.
Indeed, indeed. Although they're coming back to wool.
You know, I just watched a documentary on wool and the destruction of fast fashion, and they were talking about what is happening to our world because we have gotten away from this.
Indeed.
Yeah, so what other demonstrations can people see that will help them understand fibers of that period?
Well, Holly Stewart, who is just this genius putting together programs and educational things at the cabin, has reached out into the community, and she's talked to the Asia Pacific Cultural Center. Tacoma Public Library is going to be there. There's a group, I want to find out about these people because of their name, Crafttopia. That's worth it for the name alone. And all kinds of different groups like that. They will be felting, they will be spinning, they will be crocheting, they will be weaving, and there'll be, tablet weaving going along there. Oh, I love the pictures that you have.
Aren't these great?
Holly got the pictures.
Holly got these pictures,
Of course she did.
Yes.
Of course she did. And as you can see, there's a chance that you can try. There will be, yes, there will be a spinning wheel, at least one, possibly more, which people are always fascinated by. You get to see the twist that I just showed and a little bit of mechanics going along there. There'll be a chance for kids to try sewing on a button. They had that at a recent event, and it was one of the most popular tents, and the kids are just going, I sewed a button on, Mom. And it was just fascinating watching it. You can try your hand at weaving. I know you'll be able to spin your own bookmark and all kinds of different chances to maybe learn about a craft, maybe try your hands at a new craft that you might be interested in. Yes, speaking of wheels, there's my friend Heather, who will be there spinning.
Oh my gosh. I mean, these pictures, I just want to step a loom.
A loom,
weaving.
yes.
So spinning
yes,
and also
yes.
weaving. And of course, that's a little portable one. It's not one of
Yes.
the big ones that I have seen in my family. And speaking of pricking your finger,
Yes.
there it is. I mean, all of this, when you say that children got to sew on a button, Karen, wait a minute, back up. Oh my God. And different fibers,
Indeed.
straw.
Yes.
That is incredible. And then, of course, let's also talk about quilting, which was part of the time, too.
And there'll be a chance you can make your own 9-patch. I think there's some glue involved. You don't have to do all the sewing, but maybe you can try sewing.
So the button sewing, oh, and look at that. These pictures are priceless.
And the faces say it all, right?
Well, they really do say it all. I mean, and let's go back to the sewing on a button.
Mm-hmm.
You would not think that that would be a aha, wow, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus
Right.
moment for children in this day and age, but why would it not be if you really think about that?
Indeed.
I mean, I always say I don't sew, but I can mend anything.
Well done, you.
Because my grandmother taught me, because she tatted. So I knew how to sew and darn and do those things. And that doesn't happen anymore, except for people like you who remind us of our past. So Christopher, obviously, this is an event for all ages.
Absolutely, yep. And it's got a low barrier to entry. I think anybody of any age can get started in fiber arts.
I love this. So what other types of outreach programs does the museum offer? Because anything you can do with your hands is a huge outreach program.
That's a big thing for us is screen-free activities, but we do lots and lots of stuff in the community. I kind of joke that if people don't know who we are, if they have a young kid that's been in 3rd or 4th grade, their kids probably know who we are because we do lots of field trips. We have about 1,500 kids coming in for field trips every year. We send out traveling trunks with education materials to about 3,000 kids, up to 50 schools a year. And then
Where do you store these trunks?
Well, they're always in and out of the cabin, so there's never too many at the cabin at once.
Yeah.
And so then we do craft events every month, and then summer is story time. Karen was one of our storytellers this year. Lots and lots of activities that we have, and then our events. This is a brand new event this year, but we also have our Tacoma Pioneer Craft and Music Festival that we do every spring too.
Yes, you do. And Karen said it so well. That park, that is Wright Park and that park are right there neck and neck with me. I can never pick. It's like I can't pick a child I love more. I love them uniquely. Those two parks are standouts in my mind of the crown jewels of parks. That it's like the little park that could. I mean, I go there Wednesday nights and listen to music. It's so beautiful. Yes. Does the museum, how can people support this museum, Christopher? What's the best way? And what I'm asking you is, what do you need? Do you need money? Do you need volunteers? Do you need all the above?
All of the above. Yeah. Volunteers are absolutely crucial to what we do. Karen's one of our longest running volunteers, but we can use clerical volunteers. We can use docents when the cabin is open. We can use help at our events, just helping out manage the events. So lots of volunteer opportunities that can be found on our website. And financial support, of course, is always crucial. We rely on grants, sponsorships, and individuals to fund the museum. And then just letting people know about the museum. If you've come to visit us and you liked it, let people know about it so more people can come see us.
I love that. Who do we need to thank for all of this history goodness?
Our key sponsors of the museum are Corona Steel and Gray Lumber.
Oh.
And for this event specifically, Tacoma Creates has been a huge supporter. The Ben B. Cheney Foundation has been a big supporter. Dwyer Pemberton Colson CPAs, Edward Jones Financial Consultants, and Roof Therapy and Sprague Pest Control. And I think I got all of them.
Wow. Okay, that's impressive. And I have to say, hold your hands up. Let's see those palms. Nothing was written across those palms like I used to do when I was a guest and go, yes, we have X amount. Well done, my friend. You live this every single day. So what do you want people to walk away with after they're done with the Fiber Fling? Because this is the first year. So what hopes do you have that they lay awake in bed thinking about after the fact?
That they're part of the history of Tacoma that's always growing, and it's not just dates. It's a community that's always revitalizing. I love listening about how they're fixing up the Taya Foss.
Yes.
And just always growing. We're always creating.
There we are.
Oh, and we forgot to mention the huge entry fee for this.
Zero.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Indeed.
I love that. Thank
Yes.
you both so much for being here today and for all the work that you've put into this. And I can't wait to get down there and get my fingers in there. Right. Thank you. That wraps up another great segment of Cityline. It is always a pleasure and a privilege to be in your home. We've given you some really great things to think about in this past hour, so please go out there, be a part of the tapestry, and above all, and when you come back, as always, right here at Cityline. Take care.
You're from Green Bay, you're from Atlanta, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. You're from the easy, you're from Green Bay, you're from Atlanta, but Tacoma's where you'll stay. Yeah, Tacoma, that's my home, from the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Alright, you're from the East Coast, alright, you're from the West, alright, you're from the middle, but Tacoma's still the best. Alright, you're from the East Coast, alright, you're from the West, alright, you're from the middle, but Tacoma's still the best. Hey, Tacoma, that's my home, from the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, place I call my own. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, from the pines to the dawn. Tacoma, that's my home, yeah, Tacoma, that's my home. Tacoma, that's my home, place I call